What are you doing with the cough sound? Really? Well, obviously, amigos, you can see that Sam is ready. Welcome to the Amigo show. It's your boy here, Mide, with Sam as well. Of course, we don't have our third amigos, but that's okay. The amigos, we have missed you. We're back again. Today, we'll be talking about my yours truly, Manchester United, new season, new journey. Sam, I'll let you run the show today. I think I need to take a back seat, not just from a hosting perspective, but to really talk about my team, what I've seen that's been good from their first game, general thoughts, pros and cons, and really preparing for our next game, which is against Brighton, which it's going to be a difficult game. It's not one of those games where we're just gonna roll them over. Brighton has a new coach. They have about seven new players, and they were specifically bought for specific positions. It's going to be an interesting game. I can tell you that, amigo. So looking forward to talking to you about my favorite team today, Manchester United. Sam, take it away. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. Wait, I think I overheard you say we're praying for the next game. Are you saying, did you say prepare for the next
I
game or
did not pray. I said prepare, but
okay?
you might not be wrong. Based on what we've seen from Brighton's last game against Everton, amigos, that game ended. Was it 4-1?
3-0.
Or was it 3-0? Okay, yeah, I think there were two goals that were cancelled. But it was 3-0. And I saw a Brighton team, Sam, that they play wonderful football. For the fact that they only had a summer just to get their acts together with their new coach, with because of course Deserbi left, left that team for Marseille. They have a brand new coach from Germany. He is the youngest coach in the Premier League at the age of 31, and I've been very impressed with how he's organized the team. So yes, we might be praying. If we don't play well, Amigo Sam, we might be praying.
Especially after 1-0 against Fulham, which there's definitely a lot of things to get out of that game. What's your thought on game one? Amigo Ayo and I kind of have our own thoughts, but what's your thought?
Of course you all do. Of course you all do. Game one against Fulham, it was right at home at Old Trafford. It was one of those games where there's a lot of changes in the club, not just from the backroom staff, from the coaching staff, but even the environments. I was hearing some conversations with some articles that part of Carrington, which is our training ground, is going to be state of the art, one of the best training facilities in the entire world. Don't know when that's going to be opening up soon, but that is what they're planning. So not just that, we have four new players. Of course, both of them out of those four, Matraoui and Delit, played in that game, and I was very impressed. Matraoui more so started the game, and then Delit came in the second half. But Matraoui looked like a player that already knew what he needed to do in a Manchester United shirt. One of the most consistently good debut game that I've seen from any player in a long time. The person that had a very close game to that was Nemanja Vidic when he came, and he came in January, really, into the team. Matraoui came within the space of 2 weeks, and he already looks like he's been there for the past year and a half. I couldn't be more impressed with how he played, especially on the right back side of that game. Delit came in the second half, of course, and you could already see the authority he has in the defensive line, with with just the entire, not just the defensive line too, with Martinez and of course Delo playing left back. He also had the ability to push the midfield and move the defensive line forward to the point that Manchester United now looks like a team that plays a high line, which we've been crying for. And hence why I don't think Maguire is going to play much this season, because he doesn't play high line. Evans, I don't see it as well. If we have to play them, we're going to have to revert our strategy because they cannot play high line. One of the reasons why we bought the lead as well. The game was very controlled. I actually liked what I saw from United was a team that they've changed how they play. They actually now try to control the game with possession, which as a coach is very dear to me. I was very impressed with that. Fulham did had some chances in the first half. I will give them that. But United looked like a team that just needed that one moment to get things going. Second half, it was a struggle as well. We controlled the game. We had more of the possession. Fulham tried their best to create chances. I know they had a couple in the first few minutes of the second half that Onana saved, but it was still one of those games where we did have control over that game. Of
Mm.
course, we just weren't finishing. We had chances again, just weren't finishing. Makes me question: is Rashford really ready for this season? That's one of the questions that I got from that game. Is he really ready to play this season?
Yeah, so
Ahmad had go ahead.
I said the same thing too with Amigo, Ayo, and I. So Amigos, go back to the show and you hear my thoughts on the game one of Man United. I think Rashford, I wasn't impressed at all with his performance. The only person that I'm impressed with is Bruno Fernandes. I,
Yes.
but I'll let you go ahead and talk about your team. But 1-0 was not good enough. Let's just call it what it is. I know a lot of Man United. A win is a win. I get it. It almost it almost slipped. It almost was a tie. So
Yeah.
but yeah, go
Oh,
back to
absolutely. Especially the second half. I felt like Fulham tried to push their lineup as well to
Bruce.
try
Yeah,
to get at us. And it became a situation where I remember there was the last ditch tackle that Martinez made where they crossed or we crossed the ball into the
yeah,
box. And if not for Martinez reading the game well to know to kick the ball out away from our goal, he could have scored an own goal, and that was still at
yeah.
0-0. So it was a little closer than we would like in the second half, but that's why you need to make sure you buy players that you need to fit a system. We know Manchester United this season, they're probably going to play a hybrid of 4-2-3-1 one 4-2-3-1 formation and a hybrid of a 1-4-2-4 formation where you have a false nine. Bruno had a very good game as well. Could have scored a couple of goals, but again, it's his first game. He's only going to get better. I mean, he even said it after the game that he had chances that he should have buried, but he just didn't, and there's no excuse. That's the mentality that we're always looking for in a good team.
Okay, let's talk about Brighton, and I want to talk about the formation real quick. As a coach, would you change from 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3 flat? I personally think Dallo should have been subbed out sooner in that game. My
The
thoughts.
whole Joe bought in though. That's the problem. We don't have
But
one.
it brought in so I like what he did. He brought in wonders.
Canacho.
Ganacho. He brought in
Hmm.
Ganacho and he changed it a little bit. Brought in is it Joshua
Yeah.
Ziyech.
Hmm.
I like how you change it, but
Trixie.
what would you have done differently? And looking at the Brighton game, looking at the 3-0 that they did to
Mm-hmm. It was Everton in their
what
home,
would
by the way.
yeah. Was there a red card in that game? I think there was a red card.
There was actually Young got a
I
red
believe.
card. He held back a goal
Yes,
scoring
actually, yeah.
opportunity. Hmm.
So, what would you do differently from the formation point of view, from
Hmm.
the starting lineup as well?
Good question. The way that team is, there's still some imbalance with that team. We are at this point, we only have Matraoui and Talo as our fullbacks. Luke Short is just not fit. He's become injury prone, unfortunately. Malasia is only going to come in within a month. He's been injured for the past year, to be honest.
Mhm.
I feel like we need to go back to the transfer window. Hamas is not ready just yet, even though he's shown glimpses of what he can do in the future. Being a 17-year-old and having to be asked to play for Manchester United, that's a big shoe to fill. Not that he
Mm.
can't do it, but he's not one to start starting games for us. Formation wise, I thought it was interesting what Ten Hag did. He actually switched to a back three towards the end of that game and allowed Garnacho and when Ahmad was playing, allowed them to bump down the line to try to find Bruno in the middle. And then when Xerxes came in, right, he moved Ahmad out, moved Rashford to the left, moved Garnacho to the right, and then forced Xerxes to make the runs between Mason Mount and Bruno. And what that did was confuse the defensive line of Fulham and allowed Xerxes and McTominay to be the ones to sneak in. So it looked to me that when they had the ball, they played a different formation than when they didn't have the ball, which was very clever. I think that definitely opened up the defensive line and allowed Xerxes to sneak in where he dropped back to create the combination in the final third, and then he drove in after sending it out to Garnacho, went into the box and timed his run for Garnacho to cross it in after Casemiro played it through, and for Xerxes to put his foot in. It looked to me that it was a striker's goal. He was positioned in the right place to tap it in, and sometimes you need to have multiple formations to throw off a defensive line, especially when they have a low block. So I thought it was very clever. I would have done the same. That's why personally I like to play a 3-5-2. The problem with that is you can't play that right now in Manchester United because you only have two fullbacks. You can't. So is that you go to a 3-5-2, but then you have not natural wingbacks playing wingbacks, or you play a 4-3-3, but then with the false nine, which is what he eventually did, and it worked out. Against Brighton, from what I saw from Brighton against Everton, Brighton looked to me, not only were they very technical, they knew how to create chances. When they didn't have the ball, they defended as a unit. That's going to be difficult because normally you are used to seeing teams that have a low block and then they counter attack. You have a Brighton team that has a low block, but when they get the ball, they look like prime Barcelona. I don't know how they're doing it, but again, they bought the right players to possess the ball and also still counter attack. That's how they got two of their last goals from Danny Welbeck. It was very impressive based on how they played. Knowing that, I would probably keep it right now as a 4-2-4. I might give Rashford
So
another chance just in the first half, and if he doesn't cut it, bringing Garnacho in the second half. But I would keep Ahmad. I would.
okay.
I would keep him
So
on the right.
so you mentioned definitely going back to the transfer window. Who would you go for? What position right now?
If I was United, I would definitely get Ugarte in. I would find a way to get him in. We do need him in that midfield. I will let McTominay go. I think it's time. He did well in the United shirt, the little cameo he came in, but he is not a player that we should be relying on. I would bring in another left back, personally. I can At this point we cannot rely on Luke Shaw and Malacia. They're just injury prone. Now, I could be clever about the transfer window and bring in a player that can not only play left back, but that can play left center back as well, in case we have defensive frailties. Because again, if we have defensive frailties, which if Delic gets injured and Martinez gets injured, we're in trouble. We're gonna have to drop that line back again with Evans and Maguire. Lindelof, he's injured as well. So that's the issue we have. We need another wing back somewhere in between there. Even if it's a loan, I would take Reguilon again, personally, like we did last season. I would take him just because he's very forward thinking, like Matraoui. Defensively, he's a suspect, but again, you can coach that, and you have Martinez that can help guide him at the back there as well. Brighton is not going to be easy, amigos. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts about not just the United game against Fulham, them winning 1-0, but also some of the things you saw that were different from last season, and of course, how they think they're going to have their formation up against Brighton. It's not going to be easy. Brighton is going to give us a lot of headache, Onana was suspect a couple of times. I still kind of watching him from a far distance to see if he's truly the goalkeeper long term. I personally don't believe so.
My thought is Man United needs. I don't know how I even feel about Mason Mount. I feel like I was a little sloppy in that game. Um, I might be wrong when it comes to having high expectation for some of these players, but Man you could do better in a lot of places. Definitely, defense could be better. I saw the change in formation. That really helped out. But any last thought towards the season, pros, cons, or anything you wanna chip in?
Definitely, Sam. I think two things that comes to mind as we move into the season. We have it at Manchester United a new journey for a reason. I feel like there's some players there that, based on what they did last season, it's a new journey for them. Sancho is one of them. I still think he has a part to play. Anthony is one of them. All the allegations have been dropped as of today. I don't know what he's going to do. I feel like it's a new journey, but where is he going to play? That's another question. Rashford is another one. This is the season. If it doesn't work out this season, we might need to move him on. So there are a lot of players there that, and even the young players as well. Collier, that's another one that I have my eye on this season. There are a lot of players there that have new journeys and new beginnings. Maybe new surroundings might help them with Van Nistelrooy being in place, new environments, new players coming in. I'm optimistic. Another thing that's going to be interesting is how that transfer window closes and seeing what we have after 3 months of an open transfer window, and we are still not getting the players that we need. That's key. Some of them we've gotten, which I'm very impressed about. You have the Euros of the world, Lenny Euro, you have Delit, you have Matrawi, you have Xerxes. These are good buys. These are very good players. The question is, would we buy the players that we truly need in defense, which right now, again, it's still left back for me. That's going to determine if we make it far into the season and get the goals of getting top four and winning a trophy. So it's a new journey, new season, new beginnings. Some people have an opportunity. Some people we already know what they can do. Let's see what happens in the first 10 games. Then I may have a different verdict at that point.
Oh, you will definitely have a different verdict because you guys play the best team in the Premier League, which is in Liverpool, September 1st.
Of course,
You
after
guys have
Brighton. Uh-huh.
Aston Villa. I believe you have Tottenham. You also have Chelsea as well. Of course, Chelsea is
Mhm.
out of the picture when it comes to talking about Chelsea fan.
Yo,
Amigo,
they
just have
bought Joe
mercy.
Felix.
Again,
Why?
some you sent him to Barcelona. He flopped. He flopped with you.
And you're bringing him
Then
back again.
and you give him. I think it's $300,000. Three hundred
Yeah,
thousand pounds. Uh,
per week. I
so
just,
they're doing a
the
lot of
mind
bad deal
boggles.
over there. But we can't underestimate them. Man United's got a very, very rough next 10 games. But it's been a great pleasure, amigo.
Of course.
Thank you, Mide. And I hope Man United loses against
Ah,
Liverpool.
there we go. I was waiting for it.
So, amigo, like and subscribe. Share. Man United fans, get up here. Let me know how annoying I am. I know I'm annoying when it comes to Man United, but we're just having fun over here. Come join us. Peace, love, and light.
Absolutely, guys. Take care. Stay positive.